What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one, I want to break down what's going on with the overall market, what's going on with NIO and a couple of other tickers, and how things are looking moving forward. Before I break anything down all this information, before I talk about why tomorrow is going to be a massive day as we have CPI coming out, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 6 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks plus 6 months of level 2 data. Putting in $25,000 or more guarantees you 70 free stocks plus 12 months of level 2 data. The offer ends in just 7 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. Looking at SPY, this thing had a nice green day today, continuing to uptrend, once again reaching this resistance. As a result, we saw NIO follow the trend with the market. We also had some good news as NIO is getting closer to a weekly crossover on the PPO, and the weekly is still looking quite decent. Now, to add on to this, NIO had a pretty decent day, managed to close kind of green, and we saw the buyers once again step in. We did consolidate a bit, we ended up getting a breakout, so not bad whatsoever. Now, I want to break down that when you zoom out of the charts on NIO, I'm going to go to the weekly time frame. You will notice that we have a tendency of seeing a lot of accumulations on the stock, and it has a tendency of seeing buyers step in when people least expect it. So when NIO is dropping, right? So right here, NIO dropped. This was an accumulation. They started buying shares down here before they launched it back up. They also bought it here before they launched it up one more time. And over the last few weeks, few months, the same thing has been happening. An accumulation right here. NIO could start to push very nicely going into next year. But I also want to add on something else about tomorrow, specifically why is tomorrow going to be so big when it comes to this move on NIO? Well, we have CPI coming out an hour before the market opens. The two most important factors will be CPI year over year and then the core CPI year over year. We want it to be at 3.1% or lower. If it's 3.1% or lower, that's going to be bullish. I think there's a very good chance it's going to be either 3% or 2.9%. If we get like a 2 point something percent, that's going to be very, very bullish. Uh, then we have core. We want this to be below 4%. As long as it's below 4%, that's going to be a decent sign. That's going to be bullish for the markets. People are continuing to short SPY. If you look at every single Friday, we have loads of puts expiring, very high puts to call ratios. If you don't believe me, just look at December 15th, 2.45 put to call ratio. December 22nd, it's no different, 3.22 put to call ratio. The bears are continuing to bet that the market's going to tank while the market goes higher. Crude oil data has shown that for the month of December, crude is dropping. For November, it was also dropping quite a bit. And this has been, once again, very similar to that of CPI. So there's a very, very good chance, looking at crude futures, that this is leading CPI. And with this correlation, there's a very high probability CPI will follow. If you look at the trend, it's been downtrending. CPI has been dropping, so is core. Core is a bit more sticky, but overall, similar trend, suggesting it's dropping. Retail gas prices had the biggest drop we saw the entire year. We never saw it drop this much in a single month for the month of November, for what I'm seeing. We saw a 30-cent drop for the average all formulations retail gas price. That's in dollars per gallon. That's on average. That's once again bullish. And then what else is good for the market would be you guys can see that oil prices tend to be correlated with inflation. This data is not up to date, but I just wanted to show you the correlation between them historically. And with oil prices dropping even more as the market pumps, this is once again a good sign for inflation to come down because it's been dropping quite a bit, as you can see in this chart since then. So it's been dropping. This chart right here, this one I have here, just shows you like a better historical example. With that being said, though, the market already is pricing in the Fed pause or a Fed skip, which I think is most likely going to happen. So the Fed is likely going to pause slash skip on Wednesday. The real question is, what are the expectations for a cut? How could that affect the markets? Right now, the market is very excited, and I think that there's a good chance of some more positive price action. NIO looks bullish for 2024. I think that NIO is going to make its way back up to the 16s over the next couple of months. I think that NIO has a big bounce coming. NIO has a tendency of basing at $7, and CPI, excuse me, CPI is going to be one factor to help this thing push higher just for tomorrow specifically. But for the long term, I'm still very bullish on the charts. I think that we're at a very, very good buy area, not financial advice. If the market rips tomorrow, if we get a CPI at 3%, NIO could push up towards 8. If it's 2.9% for CPI, which I think we're most likely going to get, we have a nice inverse head and shoulders. I think NIO is going to be launching up for $8 very soon. The chart's looking bullish to me intraday. For SPY, I'm just going to be kind of quick with these. I think that SPY, if we get a decent CPI, which I think we most likely will, looking at all the data, that's going to be 3.1% or below that. I think it's going to be at 3% or lower. And then for core, I think it has to be below 4%. This could cause SPY to rip for 467, at least 465 if we're bullish. If we're bearish and I'm wrong and CPI is hot, we could see SPY come down to like 4, all the way back down to the orange trend line at this like 456 area, which I doubt. I don't think it's going to come all the way back down to 456. But just to be safe, we'll just have to wait and see. But I do favor the upside. I think we're most likely going to see a move to the upside. For the QQQ, I have the same view. I think we're going to likely see a move to the upside. This thing is continuing to rip as if they already know what the numbers are going to be like. We have a nice accumulation. If we're bearish, you want to see it come back to 391. If we're bullish, you want to see it break out towards 400. My guts tells me 400 is coming for the QQQ. Tesla was kind of weak today because of some bad news involving their price incentives, their prices. There's bad news involving some demand issues that were projected by Bernstein and other factors like that, which caused it to lose its support. Tesla's not dead, though. It could try to make its way back up into this shop area where it has been consolidating. I think there's a good chance it could make an attempt to get back up. So we'll have to see if it could get back above the yellow trend line of support, which is now going to become resistance. CPI is going to be a big factor. We'll see if this launches Tesla back up towards 244 or if Tesla gets a rug pull back down to 233. My gut tells me as long as there's no external bad pieces of news for Tesla, as long as CPI is the big thing affecting it, we could see Tesla push back up to 244. As far as Nvidia goes, looking kind of weak right now, got a big drop, but the thing about Nvidia is it's not necessarily dead. We're going to be watching to see if we're forming a flag right here, and if Nvidia is about to get a breakout right past these wicks. If we're bullish tomorrow, watch it break 472 to push up back up to the high 470s. If we're bearish, you want to see it retest the blue trend line, this 460 area, and then lose it. Then we're going to turn more bearish. I have a feeling that CPI might launch the market. This could help Nvidia try to push back up to 475. But just to be safe, we'll have to wait and see. What's good about Nvidia is we're making higher highs and higher lows. We're still uptrending technically. And don't forget about this imbalance. This imbalance is a big level to be watching with that 482 area if we do end up breaking past this wick right over here. So if you want to bring up any other indicators, we can even like bring up our Bollinger Bands real quick. You can see right over here that we got this expansion off this big drop. So we'll see if this reverses and if we can try to make our way up towards the upper Bollinger Band. There's a good chance Nvidia could do that. We'll just have to wait and see. Last but not least, the last chart I'm going to be talking about before I start talking about like Aapl and anything else is going to be Aapl and NIO. For Aapl, in my opinion, the chart is looking like it dropped quite a bit, and we're going to be watching to see if we're forming a flag. If we're bearish, we want to watch it break below 191. If we're bullish, we want to see it get it back above 194.4, basically like this breakout area, get back above the 194s. And then we have this unfilled gap to fill around 195.7 and this wedge, which it could still re-enter. So we're going to be watching to see if Aapl could get a gap fill move up to 195 plus, or if we get a rug pull. It's all going to depend on CPI. My gut still favors the upside. And last but not least, for NIO, I'm actually going to pull up NIO using Webull because I want to call out something that's very important. I actually have my MACD on the bottom. On the 4-hour time frame, we have a bullish looking MACD on SPY. And then I just want to mention that there's no sign of that breaking. But for NIO, going back to NIO, we just got a bullish cross on the 4-hour MACD, which is a good sign for the charts. I think it's going to be pushing for 7.8 soon and eventually $8. I'm leaning more bullish for tomorrow. I think NIO may rip thanks to CPI. I also think that the chart looks bullish and the whole market could also play a big role. That is my view of NIO, guys. Thank you all so much for listening. Hopefully this video was very helpful. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, and peace out.